Okay, so what I'm doing here is monk's belt. I'm using an 8-2 cotton for the warp and for my tabby weft in this really nice dark teal colour. And for the pattern weft I'm using a hand spun yarn that I spun years ago when I really like these shades of blue and green that I'm using on this. Each pattern I'm using a different colour of leftover hand spun yarn. So I'll show you the basic process. I just have this loom threaded up, straight draw 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way across, 90 something threads. I planned this warp for something else and then decided to use it for this. So I'm actually weaving these monk's belt patterns pick up, which is not usually the way it's done, but it's working for me because it means that my little ADHD brain can change patterns as often as I need to or want to, and just play and experiment a whole bunch, and it's complicated enough to keep me interested and engaged. So what I do is I'm just checking which one I need. So I'm lifting up shafts 1 and 2, which gives me this 2 threads and then a 2 thread gap all the way along. And monk's belt is really good because it is such easy blocks, so I can just pick up the ones I need. I'm picking up my floating selvage, and then I'm picking up these 2 threads down here and these 2 threads here from the bottom of the shed. It's sort of, if you've done Baltic weave, it's similar to that, just picking up some from the bottom and dropping some from the top. So I'm picking up this one from the bottom, which is creating a 6 thread weft float behind it, and these ones here I'm dropping these 2 to the bottom, which creates down here 6 threads together, which creates this 6 thread weft float up the top. So that's essentially all I'm doing, is deciding where the different floats go. I lower shafts 1 and 2, and then I just quickly check to make sure it's looking like what it should look like the one before, in this case, and then I tilt this on its side so that I can pass my weft shuttle through. I use the tabby weft just to hold it in place, create a little bit of tension, drop that, and then bubble it. I'm having the best results with bubbling, and then pack that in, and then my plain weft shuttle is on the left, so I push down my left 2 levers, which is 2 and 4, and I'm going over the top of both of the floating selvages. I'm having the best results by making the tabby weft go over both, and then having the pattern weft go under both. That just seems to be the best way for it to work for me. Not really that happy with this one. Just a sec, I'll just pull that in a bit tighter. Okay, now I need to change pattern, so I'm at the end of this little box. I need to do this row here, which has a change of pattern. So now I'm lifting up shafts 3 and 4, and again I've got this 2 and 2 pattern across, and so I just go under the floating selvage. I've got my finger under the one on the right here, and just do the same thing. So I just drop these ones, pick up these ones. This is probably the easiest out of all the patterns I've done so far on this warp. This is the 5th monk's belt pattern that I've woven in the last few days on this warp. I'm just going to quickly double check. Yep, that looks good. And then I'm taking my pattern weft over the top. So because my tabby weft is going over the floating selvages, it sort of sticks up, like it's sort of bubbling up there. So I'll make sure I'm going over the top of that, which holds that in. Drop this, bubble it, And then the last thing I need to remember to do is to put through the pardon me, the plain tabby weft, because sometimes I forget and I'll have the next pattern picked up and then realize I have to pull that the shed stick out and weave this plain weft first. And then I just start again, changing sheds again, and start picking up the next one. And so it's slow and meditative, but that's really what I need today. So it's quite good, really enjoying it. The last one will be after this pattern. I'll be doing a pattern in a fairly blue sort of yarn, and then I'm going to pick another pattern, possibly something more complicated, and I'm going to actually cut the weft off and thread the loom for that and weave it in monk's belt, and then weave the same threading in honeycomb. Honeycomb is too complicated for me. I do not have the brain space at the moment to weave that pickup. So yes, I'll be threading it differently once I'm done with these 6 pieces of monk's belt here. Thanks.